कर दूं?
Hello, students. We are here, me and your favorite Govind sir, in the live session on how to start preparation for your CLAT with 11th standard. So there are many students जो 11th standard में होते हैं और उनको अभी तक नहीं पता है कि उनकी preparation journey कैसे start होनी चाहिए. That's why we are here and to let you know what all things that you should start doing it, जो काफी कॉमन होंगी, जो अपनी 11th स्टैंडर्ड के साथ आप कर भी सकते हो और एज सुन एज यूल स्टार्ट डूइंग इट आप अपनी क्लैट के लिए प्रिपरेशन भी कर सकते हो 11th स्टैंडर्ड के साथ साथ ही. और ऐसी कुछ हैबिट्स होती है जो अभी से बिल्ड कर लोगे तो वो नेक्स्ट ईयर आपके लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल हो जाएंगे, राइट? सो स्टार्टिंग विद वाई स्टार्ट इन क्लास 11th, कि हमको स्टार्ट ही क्यों करना चाहिए इन क्लास 11th. फर्स्ट, यस, हमारे पास बहुत सारा टाइम होता है विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू जब मैं 12th स्टैंडर्ड में जाऊंगी देन आई स्टार्ट थिंकिंग ऑफ प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर क्लैट और उसके बाद मैं अपना प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट करूंगी समवेयर अराउंड द कॉर्नर. यस, इन 11th स्टैंडर्ड अगर मैं 11th स्टैंडर्ड स्टार्ट कर दूंगी तो कहीं ना कहीं मेरे पास एक बहुत सारा टाइम फ्रेम होगा, तो इट वुड बी अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम फॉर मी टू प्रिपेयर माई जर्नी टूवर्ड्स क्लैट. एंड यस, समवेयर द अदर देयर बहुत सारे सब्जेक्ट्स ऐसे होते हैं हमारे क्लैट में कि जहाँ पे आपको फाउंडेशन बिल्ड करने की जरूरत होती है. सपोजली जीके एंड करंट अफेयर्स विच इज द मेजर सब्जेक्ट जो गोविंद सर का फोटे है. बट देन फाउंडेशन बनाने के लिए अगर मैं बात करूं कि समवेयर अराउंड द कॉर्नर अगर मुझे कोविड से रिलेटेड कुछ पता ही नहीं है तो आई वोंट बी एबल टू मेक अ गुड, फिर मुझे वैसे ही स्टार्ट करना पड़ेगा, मुझे एक डिटेल वर्जन जानना पड़ेगा कि कोविड होता क्या था, ठीक है, हाउ डिड इट स्टार्टेड एंड हाउ डिड इट स्प्रेड एंड उसके लिए हमारे पास क्या क्या दवाइयां हैं, व्हाट आर द रेमेडीज दैट आर अवेलेबल, कि हमको वन हैंड डिस्टेंस पे खड़ा होना है, देन यू हैव टू पुट अ मास्क. तो जब तक मैं फाउंडेशन ही बिल्ड नहीं करूंगी तब तक आई वोंट बी able to be that pro into GK and current affairs. तो yes, somewhere or the other there are certain subjects just like GK जिनके लिए आपको फाउंडेशन की नीड होती है, राइट? तो 2 साल पहले स्टार्ट कर देना इज अ बेटर ऑप्शन टू गो अहेड एंड डू इट. आपकी रीडिंग स्किल्स और कॉम्प्रहेंशन को आप बिल्ड कर सकते हो विद इन दैट 2 years ऑफ टाइम फ्रेम एंड दैट इज रियली इंपॉर्टेंट इन क्लैट, क्योंकि क्लैट इज एन एग्जामिनेशन जो रीडिंग कॉम्प्रहेंशन है. और रिसेंटली जितने भी हमारे क्लैट के पेपर हुए दे आर ऑल रीडिंग कॉम्प्रहेंशन बेस्ड सिंस 2020, राइट? बट अभी आज के जजमेंट के बाद वी डोंट नो कि हमारा पेपर पैटर्न कैसा होने वाला है, क्योंकि कंसोर्शियम रहेगा या नहीं रहेगा उसका भी हमें नहीं पता है मेजरली. बट देन सम और दी अदर की रीडिंग कॉम्प्रहेंशन पेपर तो रहना ही चाहिए बिकॉज दैट इज द कोर. हमारे यहाँ जितना भी सब्जेक्ट होता है, करिकुलम होता है, व्हेन वी आर गोइंग टू बी देयर इन द कॉलेज, तो मोस्टली वी गो अहेड एंड डू अ लॉट ऑफ रीडिंग. तो रीडिंग कॉम्प्रहेंशन बेस्ड रहेगा तो आई थिंक दैट इज गोइंग टू बी रियली हेल्पफुल. और यस, थोड़ा सा when you start preparing in your 11th standard, somewhere or the other you are exposed to legal टर्मिनोलॉजीज आपको थोड़े थोड़े पता चलने लगते हैं, क्योंकि जब आप मॉक देने लगते हो, आपकी क्लासेस होने लगती हैं, तो आपको ये टर्मिनोलॉजीज पता चलने लगती हैं. तो yes, somewhere around the corner, yes, you should start preparing yourself in your 11th standard only. एंड दैट इज द मेजर थिंग जो आपको कर लेनी चाहिए. 2 साल पहले से प्रिपरेशन करोगे तो बहुत टाइम होगा, बहुत एम्पल अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम होगा. आपको लगेगा ही नहीं यार टाइम कम था, टाइम कम था, टाइम कम था टू प्रिपेयर फॉर द क्लैट एग्जामिनेशन. और कहीं ना कहीं फिर आपकी 12th में जाके आपकी बोर्ड्स आ जाते हैं, तो आप ज्यादातर फोकस थोड़ा बोर्ड्स में भी देने लगते हो कि यार मेरा बोर्ड्स अच्छा जाना चाहिए, बोर्ड्स अच्छा होना चाहिए, right? And now what would be the month wise plan for class 11 students just for a year? That would be over to you, Govind.
Okay, thank you so much. So, first of all, excellent points raised by Ayushi ma'am about how you need to emphasize on reading comprehension, because 4 subjects out of 5 in CLAT are dominated by reading comprehension. It's GK, it's English, it's legal, as well as logical. So it's paramount, it's necessary, it's essential, whatever you may call it. In order to have a successful rank in CLAT, you need to be a pro at reading comprehension. Lastly, the point which Ayushi ma'am raised at last was that you need to develop a mindset of a lawyer. You need to think like a lawyer, and you need to learn what to anticipate from the consortium. And to do that, there has to be a game plan. What is the game plan? So on the screen, you can see a 12-month roadmap. Now, we are aware that if you are an 11th class student or if you are an aspirant of 2027 CLAT, you have more than 12 months. But this is the action plan for the next 12 months. And beyond these 12 months, you would again have 6 odd months, which you can utilize for revision, which you can utilize for extra practice. And that is something which we can discuss in the later stage of your preparation. But if you're starting your journey today, then what should your next 12 months look like? Let's look about that. So, when you talk about the initial phase, when you are new to your CLAT preparation, the first thing should be building a reading habit, because a lot of aspirants, a lot of you don't have a sustained reading habit. A newspaper should be a part of your daily routine. It could be the Indian Express, it could be the Hindu. Important is that you look over the editorials every day. You can also attend the Hindu analysis, which happens on our YT channel every day. Apart from that, not just reading the newspaper, but also reading from eclectic resources, like it could be books, it could be related magazines, it could be your NCRTs, it could be static GK, it could be vocabulary related books. Anything which aids your preparation and builds a reading habit should be on your radar in the first 3 months. Also, beyond that, not just you just not have to focus on reading habits, but also on building your foundational blocks on the subjects of logical reasoning as well as legal reasoning, which is Ayushi ma'am's forte. So, talking about these two subjects and why they are so crucial, we talked about how reading comprehension is important. But beyond reading comprehension, Ayushi ma'am said that you need to have a legal acumen, you have to have a legal mindset. And for that, the logical reasoning subject as well as the legal aptitude subject play a vital role. Another important reason why you need to start with these two is because these are not taught in schools, right? You might be taught reading comprehension, you might be taught quant to a certain extent, calculations to a certain extent, but we are not really taught critical reasoning per se or legal aptitude per se. So it becomes important to cater to these new subjects and become comfortable with them. I think we changed the slide. Yeah. Now, moving ahead, talking about the subsequent 3 months, which is month 4 to month 6 in your preparation journey, if you begin today, what should happen? You should now start picking up GK and current affairs. Now, you might wonder that we still have more than an year. Why should I start doing my GK from supposedly 4 months from now would be June, July, August, September. Why should I do my GK from September? Now, multiple reasons for that. First is CLAT is notoriously known to not stick to the timeline of 1 year, and we have seen questions coming from 2 years ago and 1.5 years ago. So that prepares you for that sort of an eventuality. First reason. Secondly, it helps building a base of knowledge which would definitely serve you well while you start diving deeper into current affairs in the subsequent months. Thirdly, it helps building your static GK. Static GK is everything which you could say complements the current GK in terms of the subject knowledge. So it could be knowledge of history, it could be knowledge of geography, it could be knowledge of economics, it could be knowledge of science and technology. Anything under the sun can lie under static GK, and you need to follow the right resources for that. So now that you have started working on your basics in terms of legal and logical, you have started reading every day, you have started studying GK, current affairs as well as static GK. The next thing should be to test where do you currently stand in terms of your preparation. Now, this is not to have a competition with people who are currently preparing. This is to evaluate your own standing in terms of what are your strengths and weaknesses and where do you lie in the competition. For that, you could take up a sectional mock or a full length mock. That is totally up to you. I would say that start with a full length mock and then go down to sectional mocks, because that would give you a broader view as well as a comprehensive view. Once you have this understanding of which section is serving as a strength for you and which section is serving as a weakness for you, you would be better prepared and well equipped to strategize your preparation around it. So, for example, if you know that you have a good hold over your quant section, you are good at analytical reasoning questions, then you can probably devote lesser time towards it in your preparation. I'm not saying you would ignore it, but still relatively lesser time towards it. And let's say hypothetically you realize that you need to work more in reading comprehension and logical reasoning and reading speed and all of those things, and you can devote more time on it accordingly. So you can, lay emphasis on where you have certain weaknesses and you can back your strengths, is what we are trying to discuss. Now, when you talk about the next phase where you have done all of these things, it becomes important that you now start taking full length mocks with utmost seriousness. And now the purpose of mocks slightly changes. Now the purpose is to plug in your finer nuances, like a particular topic which is probably going wrong, like testing various attempt strategies on which subject to attempt first, like timing yourself on how soon are you able to complete a mock test, like testing your graph of speed versus accuracy, that if you are able to complete it on time, then does your accuracy take a hit, and if you are aiming for accuracy, does your speed take a hit. All of those evaluations now begin in this phase, because we are done with the concepts to a great extent, we are done with practice to a great extent, we now know our strengths and weaknesses. So now it's time to refine on those, now it's time to fine tune on those. So that is what this phase of 7 to 12 months would comprise. Apart from that, what's important is a very close scrutiny and analysis of your performance, tracking of your performance through the mock portals, through feedback from your mentors, through self analysis as well. So you would be constantly working on improving yourself 1% every day, 5% every day, in every subsequent mock, in every subsequent sectional test, and in every subsequent practice session you take. So that is going to be the ballpark roadmap for you in the coming next 12 odd months. And if you are able to stick to this roadmap, preparation for you would be very streamlined, it would be very structured, and you would still be left with 6 odd months to just revise things, to just improve your mock strategy, to just work on your mock scores, to just have a very solid game plan, which would definitely help you get a stellar rank, sub 100 rank, or a double digit or a single digit rank, because you have time towards your advantage, which Ayushi ma'am rightly said in the first point itself, that when you have ample amount of time, you have an edge over students who don't have it, right? So you have to make the best out of it, you have to use it to the greatest extent. And how to use it, we have just talked about that. So we can move on to the next slide, and now Ayushi ma'am can take forward this discussion.
Okay, so yes, as the plan was pretty simple, but हमको day to day wise क्या करना चाहिए? What should be our weekly study routine as well? Let us know about that as well. So for me, whenever I have had a word with students, be it 11th standard student, whenever it's a 12th standard student, there is a big difference between both the students when I try to give them the strategy part. क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि 11th standard को मैं शायद थोड़ा ज़्यादा task दे सकती हूँ, but मैं 12th standard को इतना ज़्यादा task नहीं दे सकती हूँ. On the other hand, droppers को तो I can give a lot of task to do in their weekly schedule. So for 11th standard student, कहीं ना कहीं I feel कि yes, वो थोड़े नए होते हैं within the range of CLAT. तो कहीं ना कहीं वो अपने subjects पर तभी समझ रहे होते हैं. तो as far as for your weekly schedule is concerned, आप कुछ subjects कुछ दिन उठाएं, कुछ subject कुछ दिन उठाएं, and then your Sunday so for sure you should be booked with the mocks only. जैसे हमारे पास 5 सब्जेक्ट्स होते हैं, तो yes, Monday to Wednesday you should go ahead and have your legal reasoning as your subject. आप इसका theory पढ़ो थोड़े time. Half an hour you can just to go and read some part of theory, थोड़े से practice questions लगा लिए 1 घंटे में, आधे घंटे में, and then you 20 minutes you give the analysis time for the जो भी तुमने questions लगाए थे. ठीक है? So this is basically a one day or one day activity that you can do. देन नेक्स्ट डे यू कैन गो अहेड एंड रीड योर करंट अफेयर्स, जो भी आप रोज नोट्स बना रहे हो उनका रिवीजन करते जाओ करते जाओ करते जाओ, ठीक है। या तो आप थोड़ा और स्टैटिक जीके इंप्रूव करना चाहते हो, अगर आपको एलेट देना है या अदर लॉ एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन देने, तो वहां पे आपका स्टैटिक जीके वर्क्स मोर। ऑन दी अदर अदर हैंड क्लैट ने भी स्टैटिक जीके के काफी सारे क्वेश्चन डालना स्टार्ट किए हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं यू कैन स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग के हाफ एन आवर आपने थोड़ा सा स्टैटिक जीके को दे दिया, बिकॉज यूर जस्ट न्यू टू दिस क्लैट थिंग, तो आप थोड़ा 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 यू आर जस्ट गेटिंग टू नो कि अभी मैं क्या 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 कर सकता हूँ, राइट। थर्सडे एंड फ्राइडे देयर आर 2 days, आपने लॉजिकल को एक दिन दिया, यू जस्ट वेंट अहेड, स्टार्ट विथ योर सी आर, मे बी ए आर, वट एवर यू वांट टू स्टार्ट, यू जस्ट सॉ कि मैंने आधे घंटे में जो जो ट्रिक सीखी थी विद इन द क्लास, या फिर जो भी मैंने अपने कॉन्सेप्ट समझे थे फॉर सी आर, you just read them and for half an hour, then you just went ahead and gave the half an hour के अंदर आपने उस कुछ प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करे, 20 मिनट्स का एनालिसिस किया, मैक्स टू मैक्स 1.5 घंटा रोज आप फ्लैट को दे रहे हो। नेक्स्ट डे आपने सेम चीज इंग्लिश के साथ किया, आपने इंग्लिश के कुछ वोकैब वर्ड पढ़े, मे बी आपने नॉर्मल लुइस पढ़ ली 1 घंटे के लिए, एंड देन यू वेंट अहेड एंड गिव योर प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस वहां पे जाके। सैटरडे को आपने 1 घंटा आधा घंटा प्रॉपर प्रॉपर ट्रिक्स एंड ट्रिक्स को दिया कि क्या आपने क्वांट्स की ट्रिक्स सीखी थी विद इन द क्लास, या फिर आपने खुद से पढ़ी थी इफ यू आर गुड इन क्वांट्स। तो यस, आप आधा घंटा थोड़ा सा उसको प्रैक्टिस में लगाया, एंड सी हाउ मेनी क्वेश्चंस यू कैन सॉल्व इन हाफ एन आवर टाइम पीरियड। एंड ऑल दिस नॉलेज क्या करोगे आप, अपने थोड़े से सेक्शनल टेस्ट में लगाने की कोशिश करोगे, या फिर फुल मॉक्स में लगाने की कोशिश करोगे, देन यू विल गो अहेड एंड हैव अ रिव्यू अबाउट द सेम। तो इट्स नॉट अबाउट हाउ मच यू आर प्रैक्टिसिंग, आपको प्रैक्टिस बुक्स विद इन एनी इंस्टीट्यूट इसलिए नहीं मिलती हैं कि आप उनको बस प्रैक्टिस करते जाओ, इट्स देयर फॉर यू टू रिव्यू ऑल्सो, यू हैव टू रिव्यू योर मिस्टेक्स एज वेल। भले वो प्रैक्टिस में कर रहे हो, भले वो सेक्शनल टेस्ट में कर रहे हो, भले वो मॉक्स में कर रहे हो, वो कहीं भी कर रहे हो आप, अगर मैंने एक क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट किया और उसमें मैंने गलत किया, तो यू हैव टू गो अहेड एंड रिव्यू योर मिस्टेक, कि आपने वो गलती क्या की थी, एंड देन यू गो हेड एंड एक्चुअली चेक कि अच्छा मेरी क्या थ्योरी में गलती थी, या फिर मैंने अपने कंसेप्ट गलत लगाए थे, या फिर मैंने क्वेश्चन गलत रीड किया था, या फिर मैंने मेरे को वो कैब नहीं आती थी, एंड नंबर ऑफ रीजंस, यू जस्ट हैव टू राइट डाउन दोज रीजंस। मैंने एक I have made a video on how to analyze mocks as well. You can go ahead and have look at it. जहाँ पे I've clearly taught कि कैसे आप अपना analysis करते हो, be it a mock or be you can same apply to the sectional test as well, right? So yes, this is what you should go ahead and do in your weekly study routine. बहुत ज्यादा नहीं करना होता है, थोड़ा 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 यू हैव टू स्टार्ट योर जर्नी विथ, क्योंकि आपके पास रीडिंग के लिए बहुत ज्यादा टाइम होना चाहिए, आप रीड करो रोज 1 घंटा 1.5 घंटा, और आप कहीं ना कहीं अगर द इंडियन एक्सप्रेस से भी स्टार्ट करो, तो कहीं ना कहीं आपको 2 ढाई 3 घंटा तो एटलीस्ट इनिशियली लगेगा टू फिनिश द पेपर। आपको उसको प्रो होने में, टिल वो टाइम को 1 घंटा करने में या 40 मिनट करने में आपको शायद 6 महीने लग जाए, इफ यू आर कंसिस्टेंट विथ इट। आपको कंसिस्टेंसी रखनी पड़ेगी, तभी आप वो 40 मिनट्स या 1 आवर में कन्वर्ट कर पाओगे, ठीक है। तो यस, इनिशियली आपको रीडिंग पे बहुत ज्यादा फोकस करना है, रादर देन यू गो अहेड एंड स्टार्ट प्रैक्टिसिंग स्टफ। जितनी अच्छी रीडिंग होगी, आप अपना प्रैक्टिस सेशन में बहुत अच्छे होते जाओगे, आप रिव्यू सेशन में बहुत अच्छे होते जाओगे, आप अपने मिस्टेक्स एनालाइज करने में बहुत धीरे 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 अच्छे होते जाओगे। तो धीरे 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 जो घड़ा बढ़ता है ना पानी के अंदर, वो क्रो वाली स्टोरी है। तो थोड़े थोड़े एफर्ट्स डाल के ही यू कैन एक्चुअली गेट द वाटर टू ड्रिंक। तो वैसे ही होता है योर प्रैक्टिस टुवर्ड्स योर क्लैट। What should you read? I think this will be better told by Govind sir. So over to you, Govind.
Okay, I think we have already touched upon this to a great extent, but let me reiterate. Also, there's a comment by Shasti. Yes, Shasti, you have to start your current affairs preparation at least from January if you are appearing for this year's CLAT exam 2026. So, yes, doing the last 3 months GK and current affairs is super important. You cannot skip it. Okay, coming back. So for GK and English, your reading should comprise of course, the Hindu or the Indian Express newspaper. Apart from that, you can supplement your, you could say, preparation by apps like in shorts and different editorial summaries. But I would still suggest that go to the actual source and read the entire editorials for a better understanding, at least in the initial few months of your preparation, because that would help you develop a critical thinking mindset. Apart from that, you can use supplementary resources like GK Today and Affairs Cloud for one liners type of GK and to get a deep dive into what exactly is the news about, because in shorts would give you a very short and brief way of putting it, whereas these websites could give you a static GK perspective and a deeper dive into it, while Manthan, on the other hand, can also help you do the same. So all of these resources, along with your monthly compendiums and weekly compendiums, including the Manthan and Manthan 2.0, become very important and key in your preparation of GK and English for the CLAT exam. Moving ahead, when you talk about some mistakes which a lot of aspirants usually do in the preparation journey, Shara is saying, should I make notes from newspaper also on the daily basis? That's up to you. It's recommended, but it's not mandatory. You can, but you have to be very smart about it in understanding what topics are important, because every topic in the newspaper is not relevant for CLAT perspective. So you can join the classes at 3 p.m. and have a better idea where we discuss what is relevant, what is not, and then you would be in a better position to make notes from the newspaper. ठीक है. Coming back to the mistakes to avoid as a CLAT aspirant who has started his or her journey, a lot of aspirants just focus on legal GK, thinking that it would, make a huge chunk in the exam, which it does on some years, but it does not in some years where the GK is dominated by non-legal GK as well, or the legal section is dominated by the theoretical aspect like contract, torts, criminal law, and constitutional law as well. So just focusing on legal GK might backfire. The second point is ignoring reading comprehension. I think we have touched upon this in depth already, that reading comprehension is very essential to your preparation, and if you ignore it, you are going to compromise not just the English section but four sections out of five. So cannot be sabotaging your paper by not doing reading comprehension comprehensively. Third is a issue which a lot of students, aspirants face, that they think that firstly I'll get completely prepared on a concept front, on a practice front, and then I would start giving mocks. And the intention behind it is that once I take mocks, I should be performing well in that. There are a couple of flaws in that approach. First is, when you delay taking mocks, you start lagging behind in understanding the gaps in your preparation. First thing. Second thing is, the purpose of mocks is not just to score high and boast about it to either your parents or your mentors or your peers. The purpose of a mock test is to help you understand what are your weaknesses, what can you improve, and how can you perform better on the D day. So it's sort of like a practice drill, and the more you delay that practice drill, the lesser time you have to hone your skills, to test out your theoretical knowledge, to test out what you have practiced on topics, and again that diminishes your chances of success. So start your mocks sooner. You can increase the frequency at a later stage, but at least start with previous year questions as well, start with a couple of mocks as well, and then see where your preparation is going, so that you have a better idea and better command over your journey. And lastly, I think this is quite obvious, that you have to track your preparation and your improvement very meticulously, because if you don't have a direction to your preparation. ठीक है, आपने मॉक दे दिया, उसमें लेट्स से 60 मार्क्स आ गए. नाउ व्हाट नेक्स्ट? इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू ट्रैक कि उसमें कौन से सेक्शंस अच्छे गए, कौन से गलत गए, कौन से क्वेश्चन सही गए, कौन से गलत गए, क्या रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट है, एंड क्या आपका प्लान ऑफ एक्शन होगा, so that you don't make the same mistakes again. You could probably have a mistake diary or something of that sorts, so that you take learnings from every mock, from every practice test, from every session you attend, and every day of your preparation. And that is why tracking your preparation, setting weekly goals, setting daily goals, setting monthly goals is important. And what Ayushi ma'am just told you about making a weekly calendar or a schedule to streamline your preparation, that becomes really vital. Okay, so don't do these mistakes, so that you don't fall into the pitfalls which a lot of aspirants do. Now, this is a debate which has been going on for decades now. That can CLAD be cracked using by just doing self study, or do I actually need help from a institute or from a particular mentor. Okay, I'll let Ayushi ma'am deal with this one.
Okay, so yes, हमें there are many parents also जिनका ये concern होता है. There are many students also जिनका ये concern होता है. While I'm speaking to them, while I'm having a discussion with them, कि we should क्या हमें coaching कर लेनी चाहिए, क्या हमें self study पे ही stick करना चाहिए. There are certain pros and cons for both of them. Certainly, when you are there in any of the registered institute, be it CL, if I talk about CL right now. So yes, CL will provide you. There would be booklets. There would be certainly mocks. There would be a structured way of letting you know what you will be taught. So you won't be in a dilemma how to start and how to prepare. And there would be someone or the other always tracking your performance, whether you're performing or not, whether you're actually scoring good or not, right? So we have a certain kind of a structure that we start mocks for 11th standard students for a bit late, because we know that they need certain kind of background to start giving mocks, right? But whereas when you are going ahead with a self study thing, then you will need a certain kind of discipline for the same. So yes, that discipline बहुत बार at a certainly very young age, that is really hard to maintain. आपको एक push हमेशा लगता है to go ahead and do it. And why not actually go ahead and register yourself where you can be disciplined with a structured plan. वहीं अगर मैं बात करूं, when you are actually sitting with the same kind of people, like I always guide to my cousins as well, the same thing, that you should not prepare sitting at home. You should always go ahead and prepare where you can get a motivating environment. So when you're preparing with 10 other students, you will be getting that kind of a motivation structure, like okay, now I can prepare, and now that person is also preparing, now that person is also giving mocks, now iske to marks bahut zyada aa rahe. So that competitive feeling, that healthy competition is actually necessary for you to prepare for any competitive examination. अभी तो आप क्लैट लिखने वाले हो, लेकिन मेजरली मे बी अगर आपका ड्रीम है टू बिकम अ जज, मे बी आपका ड्रीम है टू बिकम एन IAS, IPS. So when you're going to sit with these big examinations, then you'll realize okay, you really need that motivating environment. Whereas in self study you will be like, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ यार, मैं शायद अपना ट्रैक नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. And then there is a certain kind of feeling which will lead you always down. So यस, एक एनवायरनमेंट मिल जाता है पढ़ने के लिए, एक हेल्दी कंपटीशन मिलता है. आप रोज बच्चों को देख रहे हो, बीट ऑनलाइन क्लासेस और बीट ऑफलाइन क्लासेस, एनी क्लास, राइट? यू आर सीइंग द सेम पीयर ऑफ ग्रुप, दैट जहाँ पे उनके सबका एक मोटो है, दैट दे हैव टू क्लियर क्लैट, दे हैव टू क्रैक क्लैट, राइट? आपको if you're into CL, you'll get a regular assessments. आपको कुछ ना कुछ मिलता जाएगा. Like for me, whenever I take classes, we also have our doubt clearing sessions right after each and every class. So where we sit and actually clear all the doubts of the students, जो भी उनके होते हैं, right? So yes, this is one of the major things. आपको असेसमेंट्स मिल रहे होते हैं, आपको सेक्शनल टेस्ट मिल रहे होते हैं, आपको टॉपिक टेस्ट मिल रहे होते हैं. ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर रियली इंपॉर्टेंट एज अ स्टूडेंट व्हेन यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर योर सच अ बिग एग्जामिनेशन, राइट? वहीं सेल्फ स्टडी के लिए आपको खुद से एनालाइज करना है, राइट? आपके ऊपर कोई नजर नहीं रख रहा है, आपको खुद से एनालाइज करना है. नाउ यू विल गो एंड सर्च फॉर एन नंबर ऑफ यूट्यूब वीडियोस कि भाई मैं कैसे अपने आप को एनालाइज करूं. यू विल गो एंड आस्क चैट जीपीटी आल्सो कि मैं एनालाइज कैसे करूं अपने आप को. सो यस, इट्स बेटर कि आपकी जो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं वो थोड़ी सी आपकी हेल्प कर रहे हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट योर क्लैट प्रिपरेशन, क्योंकि उन्होंने इतने सारे क्लैट्स ऑलरेडी देखे हुए हैं, राइट? कि क्या पेपर पैटर्न होता है, कैसे कंसोर्शियम वर्क करता है, आगे बच्चों का रिजल्ट्स कैसा आता है, कैसी रैंक पे क्या क्या हो सकता है, व्हाट वुड बी द कट ऑफ. और सो मेजरली what is a hard paper is, what is a नॉर्मल पेपर इज, इजी पेपर इज, मॉडरेट पेपर इज. तो हर एक के अकॉर्डिंग आपके मॉक स्कोर कैसे ऊपर जा रहे हैं, कैसे नीचे आ रहे हैं. तो इसके लिए यस, देयर इज अ फीडबैक मैकेनिज्म दैट शुड वर्क. सो कहीं ना कहीं वो आपको कोचिंग से ही मिल पाता है, सेल्फ स्टडी से उतना नहीं मिल पाता. इफ यू हैव गुड मेंटोर्स, दैट इज वेल एंड गुड, आपके लिए बहुत अच्छी बात होती है. बट आई वुड ऑलवेज सजेस्ट टू रजिस्टर योर सेल्फ. आपको बहुत सारी चीजें फ्री एक्सेसिबल मिल जाती हैं और स्टडी बिल्कुल ट्रैक्ड होती है, मतलब आपको कहीं किसी और चीज के लिए नहीं जाना होता. तो दैट इज वन थिंग दैट आई ऑलवेज आस्क एनी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स टू गो अहेड एंड हैव इट. नेक्स्ट, यस, व्हाट टूल्स एंड रिसोर्सेज, हम इसके बारे में हमेशा बात करते हुए आए हैं और हमेशा हम बात करते भी हैं कि हमको क्या क्या टूल्स एंड रिसोर्सेज चाहिए होते हैं. यस, आपके मॉक्स इज द मेजर थिंग जो आपको क्लैट के लिए प्रिपरेशन में काम आता है. तो इफ यू आर नॉट रजिस्टर्ड एनीवेयर, I always say to students ki you, if you're starting your 11th standard say preparation, go ahead, join institute CL maybe, and make up your mind and just start your preparation. तो आपको मॉक्स भी मिलेंगे when there is a certain amount of time. जब भी आपके लिए feasible होगा to go and give the mock, जितने आप prepare हो जाओगे, you can go ahead and give the mocks as well. Yes, you should go ahead and have YouTube के ऊपर जाके जितने भी strategies होती हैं, legal news होती हैं, current affairs की news होते हैं. These are the major tools and resources जहाँ से आप अपनी CLAT की preparation के लिए prepare कर सकते हो. We certainly give and provide a lot of YouTube videos on each and every arena. We give you strategy videos just such like this. We have current affairs session by Govind sir every day, right? And then we have certainly for each and every subject we have certainly sessions for it. Then we have legal news as well. uh, that is what I also take, that legal current affairs जहाँ पे आपके cover हो जाते हैं, right? There are telegram groups that we run where we actually clear. There are certainly types of telegrams groups, so batch groups are also there. Then you have a telegram group where we give and provide you the notifications on everything, right? And वहाँ पे आपकी daily quizzes भी होती हैं, current affairs के ऊपर quizzes होती हैं. So you can go ahead and join that channel also, that आपको description इस video में मिल जाएगा. So yes, और भी बहुत सारे आपके tools and resources होते हैं, उसके ऊपर I have already made a video कि what all resources that you should go ahead and have it. Certainly related to more about books. उसके ऊपर also I have made a curated a video which would be there in the playlist. Go and watch it out. आपको मिल जाएगा. And yes, finally strategy tips from Govind sir.
Okay, so now we are in the last aspect of this particular session, which is what are some last strategy tips which can add that extra edge, that extra push to your preparation. So first thing is that you need to start ASAP, as soon as possible. You can start slow, but it has to be steady. Yeah. So जो कहानी थी बचपन में, तो एक कहानी आपको आयुषी मैम ने बताई क्रो वाली, एक कहानी आपको मैं भी बता देता हूँ रैबिट और टॉर्टॉइज वाली, that slow and steady wins the race. That's also true for your CLAT preparation. At least initially, you have to be slow and steady. After a point of time, you have to be like a rabbit, but without the sleeping part of it. So ठीक है, उस बारे में भी हम बाद में बात करेंगे जब रैबिट कब बनना है. बट अभी के लिए यू हैव टू जस्ट स्टार्ट. You have to just begin your preparation slow and steady, and focus on understanding the concepts and memorizing the important facts, and how to go about your preparation should be sorted out as soon as possible. The next thing is developing a curiosity in legal and political issues. This is not just important for your CLAT perspective, but also for life in general as a legal professional. You might be aspiring to be a lawyer, a judge, a corporate lawyer, or anything else. These things, the curiosity in legal affairs and knowledge of political issues, geopolitical issues, current issues, this is gonna be handy for you as a legal professional in a great extent, to a great extent rather. So it's important that you develop this early, because this would first of all help you a lot in CLAT, and secondly would help you sound smart in law school, and thirdly would help in your profession. So it's a win-win sort of a thing to do. And the second last point says keep a prep journal. Now, I think we have discussed the importance of tracking your preparation. So it's better if it happens in a methodical way, using a journal, using a diary, using a notepad. It's totally your call whether you want to do it online or offline, whether you want to do it on iPad or a notebook. That's totally up to you, but there has to be a regular tracking mechanism through a journal or a notebook, which helps you track your preparation, your weekly progress, your daily progress, your monthly progress, and your goals. How many have been met and how many are still remaining. So that really puts your preparation in a streamlined manner. And last thing, the most important thing I would say is talking to seniors or mentors. People who have been through the process can guide you better in this journey, because they know what are the common mistakes, they know what are the common insecurities, they know what exactly is the struggle which you guys are going to face. So they are very equipped to help you out of it and give you the right guidance, rather than a person who has no idea about the CLAT exam. They might give you some pep talk and motivation, but they might not be able to provide you the exact pinpoint solution to your problem. And for that, it is important to have mentorship, either through an institution or through a cousin or through a sibling, whatever way. It is important that you have right guidance from people who have done it, ideally done it and also helped people do it. So that makes your preparation comprehensive and holistic to a great extent, and helps you stay on track as well. And these are some things which, if implemented, can really take your preparation to the right spot and to you, and you to your dream colleges as well. ठीक है. So आज के लिए I think इतना ही है हमारा discussion. I hope this session was productive and you guys found some value out of it. Make sure that you drop a like on this video if this was helpful. Share it with your peers and aspirant friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such interesting sessions, helpful insights. We keep on pushing super helpful content every day. So make sure you check out the channel, the shorts part, the videos, the live sessions, all of it. And make sure that you have pressed the bell icon so that you don't miss any update from the channel. Thank you so much, Ayushi ma'am, for this session.
Thank you so much. Any doubts if your students have, you can drop down in the comment section. We'll take it up later maybe. Okay, so bye bye. Bye bye, students. Bye bye.
Bye bye, guys. Take care.